la hype. I am Renee, and this week's featured artist, Tragik from Tragik Kicks. Let's get into it, guys. So Tragik, 1993, Tragik Kicks. So you guys may know him for his famous mags, these puppies right here. And I kind of want to change it up this week. I do want to talk about his shoes, but I want to talk about why I feel he is this week's featured artist. And it goes back to detail. And I'm not knocking other artists. I know that it takes time and certain details of these, of painting, of customizing and all that. It takes time. But I think it's important to note these things, and I think it's important for all the artists to actually take criticism as positive feedback. Like we shouldn't get butthurt about it. And I think Tragik is a perfect example of someone who's been doing this for so long, and a lot of his work is repetitive, like doing the same thing over and over again, that the work he does is just, for lack of a better word, is just the shit, man. Because honestly, they're so simple, yet there's so much detail, and I think it's worth pointing out because a lot of people may, but more than likely don't even notice the amount of work it takes to leave like just really clean work on shoes. I'm gonna start with these Toy Story shoes, these Air Force. You might say, all right, man, these are just like, Woody. Cool, I get it. But what I do want to notice, I want everyone to notice, is if you guys can see the detail here. Think about what you would do if you were just starting. Would you even notice that he painted this panel blue from a all white Air Force, and he painted this panel blue and then went back and he literally made the stitching brown? Most people would just paint that panel blue. And this is what I'm talking about, like detail. Like he actually painted the stitching brown. So I'm not calling out artists. I'm just hoping that this brings light to upcoming artists, that this Tragik right here is pretty much raising a bar, if not just setting the bar, where, look, man, my work might look clean, simple, but my craft, my attention to detail is what separates my Toy Story simple shoe from your Toy Story simple shoe. Simple things like this. Like, you see the edge of this? It's brown, just like the rest of the panel. The shoelace, man, he painted the shoelace to match the liner of the actual shoe itself. Detail, guys, detail. Most people would overlook this, but I think it's worth noting. I think it's worth putting out there so that upcoming artists actually get to see what other people see. When an artist, a seasoned artist, looks at your work and probably isn't too fond of it, it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's because they pay the closest attention to detail. Same thing he did on this. Look at this green. He made sure he went and he got the edge of that green so that panel looks like it's green. He didn't just paint it green and leave the edge white. No, he painted the edge green along with the panel. Same thing here. Purple. Same thing here. Clean, crisp lines. These are little details that separate you from other artists. I would rather pay this person X amount because I know the work is going to be done right, versus this dude who's going to charge me half price but doesn't do this. Now, if you don't care because it's just a shoe you're going to wear, then that's cool. I can respect that. But if you're going to consider yourself an artist, be proud of your art. Take that extra love to make sure that your product is top notch. So, we can scroll through Tragik's page and we can see the work he does. Very simple work, clean work. And that everything you're going to get from this guy, he pays close attention to detail. And this craft, like his craft is just like bar none, man. Like his craft is just the shit, straight up. Now, if we want to get a little bit more detail, this is another shoe that he did. Very basic, but I would just want to know how long it took him to paint the entire stitching of the actual shoe. I mean, that's what you call detail. That's what you call attention to detail. And it makes the biggest difference. Like, it's just clean work. Big ups to Tragik. Love the work you do, man. Keep it simple, keep it real, keep it clean. So, the Chows. I used to watch McQueen just because my son loved this movie when he was growing up, just a baby. This was his movie. I've probably seen this movie, I don't know, 100 times easy. But this pair of shoes right here, very simple, very clean, but you get it. And just because his work, that the craft is there and is clean. I have a tendency to inspect work. Like, I want to see, like, all right, let me see what he did here. Like, I want to see how clean this line is. I want to see if he masked this. I want to see if this is a separate panel. I want to see if he overlapped this red into the top edge here and he left this white. Like, these are little details that I go into. Most people would just look at it and just be, gone on with the day. Not to be critical of him, but that's just, that's my eye. It's been trained to look at little details like that. And Tragik's is just there, man. He's, aside from him being, a big 49er fan, big ups, Niner gang, baby, Niner gang. His work's just on point, 100%. So this is what Tragik's known for. These mags, he integrates light into it. He got some LEDs in here in the air area. But I mean, look, clean, very clean work, very sharp. You can see here the edge, nice and clean. He puts his touch to it. It's dope work, simple yet clean. That's hard to do. Not a lot of people can pull something like this off. Like, you would see, I don't know, man. I've seen tons of artists out there that, I mean, you see overspray on their shoes. They didn't tape the shoe right. Just paint, like, my boys out there, all my up and coming artists, pay attention to your detail. Learn how to mask your shoes. Everything, man. It's in the detail. Masking, prep work, man. I can't emphasize that more. That's going to take your game to the next level. Learn how to mask a damn shoe right. Get the shoe that you paint to look like it came from a factory. Don't let the shoe look like you just painted it. Be proud of your work. Make the extra effort. It's going to get you places, man. Just detail. So, here are his mags. I love the hoverboard. I just love the picture. But yeah, I mean, he integrates lights, LEDs to his shoes, taking it to the next level. Paint, lights. Now we're doing something. It's not just slapping on paint and calling it a day. No, he's actually, doing some electrical work, shocking your feet. And of course, man, like, aside from, these Air Max, I have to say, his page, if we go through here for a quick, scroll, you'll see a lot of the same stuff. And big ups to him, because it's like they know him for that. They want his work for that. Here's a pair of shoes that I just love. Here's a pair of shoes. Toy Story, of course. Woody, Buzz Lightyear. Dope, clean, simple. But I mean, like, you can see that this has been masked off, right? Guys, paying attention to detail is key. It's gonna up your game. It's gonna take your work to the next level. When people get a pair of your shoes, they're gonna respect that. When you're amongst your peers and other artists, they're gonna respect that. You need to make sure that if you're up and coming, you're masking this shit right, man. You gotta learn how to mask. It's in the prep work. Like, okay, you don't just start slapping paint on any shoe. You gotta prep the shoe. Learn how to prep. Ask, man. You have to ask other artists, like, yo, man, what do you do? Ask, like, hey, man, I'm be humble about it. Don't think you're the shit when you first come out. Be humble about it. Learn from the people who have done it. Take tips. Ask to be mentored, man. These guys love to talk about art. Have you ever talked to an artist? They love to talk about art. They love to talk about where they get inspiration from. They love to talk about certain issues that they were able to resolve. They like to be able to relate to other people that go through the same thing. Like, be involved, man. Make friends in the industry. This is what you want to do. Learn from the people who have done it, who have been doing it, who continue to do it. People who are excelling in this industry, customizing shoes. You got to get to them. Learn the craft. Be humble and approach them. I mean, look how clean these shoes look. Simple design, yet fucking clean. Like, clean, like just a simple tone change in purple. Very subtle. Very subtle. Crisp fucking lines. Excuse my French today, man. I'm just feeling it today. Like, it's showtime. But, dope shoe. Dope shoe. Love his work. My all-time favorite, just because I'm a Niner fan, is this one here. Niners, baby. All day, every day. Dope ass fucking shoe. The best shoe he ever painted. Best shoe. This one right here. Niner gang. Anyways, guys, man. I did want to touch on one more thing here. Let me go back here, because I did see these. He does do a lot of kids shoes, which is awesome. But even then, like, you're working with small scale. You're still getting, things looking crisp. He knocks it out the park with these. He has his own style. It's very unique. He has his niche. That's dope too, that kind of, when you create your own niche and you start separating yourself from what everyone else is doing, and you're not trying to follow what they're doing, that's dope. It's also cool, and no one's knocking that you follow someone and you take on a style similar to theirs. You're inspired by it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just don't copy it. Try to take a little bit from different artist style. Create your own style by taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. It's okay. Anyways, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative feedback. Like, who the f am I for, like, telling or thinking or saying what I said? I don't care. This is just real. This is how I feel about art. I'm passionate about this stuff, man. I love the fact that there's artists out there that actually take the time to do their work right. They take the time and they make this biggest effort to put the best product quality out there. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's about giving a chance. It's about giving artists the ability to, it's a platform to give these artists recognition. Because there's artists out there that don't have a name, that people don't even know of, but you look at their work and it's like, man, this is dope. This artist is dope. But yet you see these other artists that the work is sloppy. Like, sloppy. Like, you're like, man, you got some over here spray, bro. Like, you had to clean that up before you gave that to the customer. And I'm thinking to myself, like, to each their own. But to me, you just can't give that to the customer, man. Like, I don't know, man. This episode was supposed to be about Tragik, and it is about Tragik, but it's more about Tragik's big standout about his craft, the cleanliness of it, the simpleness of it, and just his own style. You see people trying to copy what he does, but I mean, I wouldn't go to someone who's doing the same thing Tragik's done, because I'm going to trust the person who did this first. You know, the innovator, the one doing it first. That's the person I'm going to trust. Like, yo, I want some LEDs on my shoes. I'm going to go to him. You know what I mean? Like, I want these mags. This is what I'm going to do. That's what you have to do. You know? You don't have to do it. I'm just saying that's what you have to do. Who am I? I don't know. Anyways, guys, sorry if I went out on a rant. Tragik, I love your work. I see the shoes. This is my favorite post. These are my favorite shoes. But, you know, love the work. Keep it up. Keep setting that bar high. Keep schooling these youngsters. Keep, you know, letting them know, like, this is how it's done. This is how it's supposed to be done. Tips and tricks. Yeah, everyone, we all hold tips and tricks from all of our experience to do things. But I feel like the ones that hold it in the most is because you're afraid that someone's going to take over. My thing is, if you let it go, that means you got to push harder to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to keep pushing harder and setting the bar and setting the bar and resetting the bar and setting the bar and resetting the bar, if you get what I'm saying. Anyways, guys, that's it for this week. Tragik, awesome work. If you guys know any other artists, upcoming artists that need some recognition, man, DM us, email us. And don't forget to subscribe, as always, and leave your comments, whether good or bad. Just leave them down below. If you want to talk smack about what I said, talk smack about what I said. I don't care. Peace.